Well, last night's Love Island just annoyed me all over the game again because it's just more of gaming and scamming and lack of chemistry, even though we have 13 friggin' couples or something. Anyway, I mean, I'm not surprised that much like Nick's sex with Sierra, we only got about 25 seconds of Nick and Olandria being a thing, despite them having chemistry. That's the way this whole season has gone. But it's not Nick's fault. It is Olandria's fault, and this is gonna be this is gonna be a very anti-Olandria video. Like, sorry, not sorry. If you're a big Olandria stan, this probably ain't the video for you. Olandria, I don't understand her lack of. I don't know if it's lack of self worth. I don't know if it's obsession about Taylor for reasons I don't understand. I first watched last night's video in the middle of a bar on someone's iPad because some of us wanted to see the new episode, even though we couldn't really hear it in the bar, so we had to read captions. But watching it with a group of people was interesting to see everyone's reaction to specifically Taylor and Olandria, and I'm just glad that they pretty much all agreed with me on them. We don't agree over everybody, but regarding them, it's been clear from jump that Taylor just doesn't like Olandria like that. And I feel as though they don't even have friendship chemistry. Like, even with friendships, you need some kind of rapport, some kind of chemistry. I just think they might have things in common, yes, but they don't even have friendship chemistry. So I am just very confused by Olandria in general because I don't know what she was thinking she was receiving from Taylor, but it wasn't interest and it wasn't attraction and it certainly wasn't chemistry, and I don't even think it was a friendship. So she has just left me confused, and she deserves to be leaving the show soon. She has not explored at all, and now she's left having to watch Taylor off with Clarke, and I feel like Clarke gets some unwarranted hate. Clarke came in as a Casa Amor bombshell, did her job, and she does seem to have at least some sort of rapport with Taylor, but most importantly, Taylor has shown actual attraction towards Clarke. And so I'm just, I guess, lost on how nobody else picks up on how Taylor doesn't even show any of this towards Olandria. Like, the girls were in shock. I guess maybe they just hear more about Olandria's side of things. And so, but like, you can see with your own eyes, like, are these people this out of touch with what's going on around them? Maybe. I mean, it does seem as though everyone is trying to play Survivor. And I don't think it works for this show. Yeah, there's always been an element of gaming on Love Island. But unlike Survivor, where you can play all these games and get to the end with strategy and then you gotta win a jury vote, on this show you gotta win a fan vote. It's very different. It's extremely different. It's the same thing I pointed out with Kendall last season, and I'll say the same thing again. He was doing all this game playing, trying to make sure he and Nicole got ahead. And now I feel like a lot of different people are doing that this season, but it's been so blatant that I'm hoping it just backfires and faces. I am still on the side that Ace and Shelly are scamming. Their whole little storylines during this horrid Casa twist that lasted like 5 minutes and nobody got to truly explore because of twists, and then we got one episode of Nick and Olandria, and then they go back to the villa, and it's kind of like, well, we're already eliminating people, so I don't know. I feel like I'm talking about several different things here, but it's because there's just so much wrong with this season. But let me try not to get off track. Let me go back to the Survivor gameplay. Last night, it was clear that Huda and Shelly had to have had a strategic conversation that made sure they had a way to keep Huda around so that Huda and Chris could end up together and Huda gets to stick around. That was clear as day. Shelly had to have told her that she was going to pick Ace, and must have been pretty damn certain that Ace was going to pick her to go out and do that, which is why I just feel like the whole Ace and Shelly thing is a scam. They have attraction for each other, I do think, but like it does not come across as it doesn't come across as real to me. It doesn't. I feel like I'm watching a poorly produced soap opera couple. It's written. People, there's this whole storyline that it's like written in the stars because they met one time at a bar and now they've been brought back together on Love Island. No, I think it was written in their own script. That's where it was written. So yeah, I still feel as though Ace and Shelly aren't. They're scammers. Sorry, feel that way. Maybe it's because the show's just been so rough this season that I feel that way. Maybe I should give them more of the benefit of the doubt, but right now I'm not. Hood and Chris, who cares? I want to like Zach and Amaya just because I like Amaya, but I don't feel like Zach's really that into her. I think Zach too is just playing the game right now. So another failed couple. Iris and TJ, please. Next. Pepe and whatever woman he's with, they don't get airtime, so I can't. How am I supposed to care? I'm even forgetting Austin and the woman that's supposedly into him for once. Bad. It's like seriously slim pickings here. Nick and Sierra should probably be a front runner to win, but they're going to have their own drama. I don't think it's going to be that big. If Olandria just tells Sierra about the kissing of Nick fairly quickly, like I think she would do, I don't think Sierra is going to have this major meltdown that we were kind of hoping for. I just don't. I don't see it. Maybe it will make her second guess Nick and maybe try more with Elan, which I could actually get behind. Sierra and Elan, they do have some chemistry too, but the way people move this season is kind of unnatural. It is giving game playing, so I don't see that happening. Oh, and I'm forgetting Andrina and the guy with the beard I hate. I don't even know his name. I want to say maybe Brian. They don't get a whole lot of screen time either, and I can't say that I care. So, yeah. You know, we had one episode with some chemistry, but now we're once again left with a bunch of bad couples. And Coco's already gone, sadly. Not that I thought she was going to bring drama necessarily, but I did like her. We also lose Vanna. Not a big loss. I still can't believe she went to a plastic surgeon and pointed to a Saw mask and said, I want to look like the mask from Saw movies. But she did that. She's gone now, and that's not a surprise. And then the guys we lost, who cares? JD and Zach with a C, they were pretty nothing. So, I don't know if I would be watching this next week if the soap opera I usually cover, Beyond the Gates, wasn't going off the air for a week and not having a new episode until July 7th. So I guess I will stick with Love Island despite the fact that I have nobody to root for. It's a big ol' unlikable cast, and Olandria is just giving pathetic. I'm sorry. I will not understand what it is. I think Nick was actually really trying to gauge Olandria's interest with him, and she was still caught up in Taylor. But for what? Why? Like, yeah, Taylor is still the bad guy because he keeps stringing her along and won't just communicate with her that he doesn't feel anything for her and he wants to be with Clarke. He won't do that, and I don't think him choosing Clarke is going to make Olandria get the clue. Get a clue, Alandria. I don't understand. And Nick gets a lot of hate. Even last night watching it with a group of people, I felt like I had to defend Nick. You know, I tried to defend his chemistry with Olandria, and they were like, well, Nick has chemistry with anyone. And, I made the usual Pisces joke. Well, we Pisces usually have chemistry with everyone. Ha ha ha. I mean, it's true. But I think that Nick, he hasn't done anything that bad. He's explored. At least he's actually made connections in the house. Can't say that about most of these people. I don't even think Nick is that big of a bad guy with this whole Olandria situation. He and Olandria were forced to couple up to stay in the game. And yeah, he pursued it more than he needed to after challenges and whatnot. And that's because I think he actually is attracted to Olandria and into her. But Nick and Sierra they were never closed off. Even before they slept together, they were never closed off. I think Sierra tried to hope that sex would close them up, and it didn't, and that caused some problems for them. So, I don't know. You can hate on Nick, but very few other people are actually exploring and actually developing natural relationships in this game that aren't scamming and that aren't just pursuing someone where there's like nothing, and that's Alandra. She just keeps pursuing Taylor, who literally gives her nothing.